Hi, it's Mary. Welcome back to the Paper Turtle. We are today going to sew the signatures into our horse journal or whatever journal you're working on. This is part 3 of putting this journal together. If you haven't watched the first 2 parts, go back and watch them. The first one we make the cover. The second one we put the signatures together. Today we are going to sew the signatures into our spine. So I'm going to just get started and see if we can do this without too much goofiness here. All right. So there's, of course, a million different ways that you can do this. Now sometimes I will make the markings for where I want my holes directly on my spine. I'm not doing that today for 2 reasons. One, because usually I will do 1 or 3 signatures. And when I do that, it's very easy to find the very center point, which would be the center hole of the center signature, or if you have 1 signature, just the center hole. And from there, you can easily measure out the other holes. Today, I'm doing 2 signatures, which I think it's going to be easier for me to make a template to decide where I want my holes to go. So that's what I'm going to do. The second reason I'm not doing it is because I have a patterned fabric on the spine. Actually, if I use black pen, I would be able to see it okay. But when you have a pattern on here, it's harder to see where you make your holes. That's not really the reason I'm doing it. The reason I'm doing it is less measuring. It's easier this way. So what I did, I cut a piece of paper the exact size of my spine. The same width, you can see how it fits in there perfectly, and the same height as my spine. So it's kind of a template of the spine. Then what I'm going to do, I'm going to take my template and I'm going to fold it in half. Now I only have 1.5 inches here, so it's not like super easy to work with, but we're gonna do it anyway. So we're folding it in half lengthwise, or as my elementary school art teacher used to say, the hot dog way. I don't know why I remember her telling us that, but for some reason that's what stuck in my mind from art class. Okay, so we have it folded that way once, and we're going to do it one more time. I know it gets a little bit tedious, a little bit tiny, but believe me, it's easier than trying to measure. Unless you like to measure. If you like to measure, you can just measure out on your spine where you want your holes to go. Okay, so we have it folded in half twice, the hot dog way, and then we're going to fold it in half once, the hamburger way. I need something to poof that out. There. Okay, so that you have a clear line of where your center is. Then you're going to open it all up. And you're going to have lines. You're going to have 1 line in the middle, and then you're going to have a line here and a line here, equal distance from the end. That's why I folded it this way. It does all the measuring for you, and then you have your center spot here. So since I have 2 signatures, the outer lines are where I'm going to put my my holes. Next step in doing this, We know where the center is. So I'm going to mark the center right here on this one and right here on this one. Now you can eyeball this. You don't have to measure this. You don't have to do this like this. I'm like kind of picky with my signatures. I do like them to line up and be even. That's just me. They can be all wonky if you want them to be. You can have a hole here and a hole here and a hole here, all over the place if you want. It's perfectly fine. So I have 4 1/4 inches from the middle to the top. But I'm going to measure, let's see, not exactly halfway, which would be about 2 1/8, but a little bit more. So I think I'm going to go to 2 3/4. So at 2 3/4, I'm going to put a dot here. And 2 3/4, I'm putting a dot there. And I'm going to do the same thing on the top one. 2 3/4, 2 3/4. Those dots are where my holes are going to be for my signatures. So then I'm going to lay my template right on here. Now if you want, you can throw some washi tape on there to hold it down. You don't have to if you're, you know, confident that you can hold it down. You don't have to put the washi tape on there. I'm going to do it just for demonstration purposes. Or painter's tape, scotch tape, whatever you got handy. I just had the washi tape handy. All right. Now I'm going to poke my holes. And I'm going to try my awl. I have this awl that I got at an estate sale. I had been looking for one because the one I've been using, which I never called it an awl, I always called it a pokey tool. My pokey tool is this one. And I've noticed that it's been slipping. Although it feels okay right now. So I'm going to, when I go to do the signatures, I think that I might use this one. But for this, I'm going to try this awl and see how it works. I haven't used it yet. So you just simply make sure that you're going straight up and down. This is especially important when you're doing your the signatures. But for now, we're just going to get through the spine here. If I can hold it steady. Now, if you can see, I've got it picked up off my desk a little bit because I don't want to poke into my mat. And you don't have to go far. You can see I'm not going far. I'm just going until the thing pokes through, because all you need is a hole. You don't need a big, you know, you're not putting an oil well in there. You're just going to put a needle through there. So don't go crazy with it. Just get a hole in it. Works pretty good for these holes, but to me the holes are kind of big. Something's creaking. I don't like that. Okay, so there's our holes. Yeah, they're kind of big for me, for my taste. But that's all right. We're going to go with the flow here. All right, now our signatures. I think I'm going to put this signature in the front, and this signature will be the back. Doesn't matter which one you do first. But if you have 3 signatures, you want to do either the first one or the third one first. You don't want to do your middle signature first. I mean, you can. It doesn't, I don't think it matters that much, but all right. Now you want to make sure that all the pages in your signature are where you want them to be, and that if you have print or an illustration, that they're right side up. That's an important thing. If you happen to sew in a signature upside down, don't worry about it. We've all done it. Trust me, we've all done it. If you do that, you have the option. You can take it out and sew it back in, or just leave it in upside down. When I did it, I just left it in upside down. And then you learn. And you remember. Every time thereafter, you will remember. Okay, so my signature pages are where I want them to be. And the next thing that we're going to do is clamp them down. Now, I also like to use, where did it go? Oh, here it is. This big giant paper clip, but I only have one. So I usually will use one and then the clamps. The reason that I like the big giant paper clip is because it goes farther down on the page and holds some of those smaller pages in real nice. I don't know where I got that. Probably at work. I probably stole it. But I only have one, and I've been looking in the stores and I can't find them. I'm sure if I searched on Amazon I could find it, but I don't buy much retail anymore. It's too expensive. Everything is so expensive now. It's crazy. You know, I gotta have, my money's got to go for food and gas. I can't, and my mortgage. I can't afford to buy paper clips. Isn't that sad? That's really sad. And it's not sad for me. It's sad as a statement of our economy. It's just horrible. So anything extras, my craft stuff and stuff, that all comes from thrift stores and estate sales. And you know what? It's better. It's better than the new stuff. Okay, so we're all clamped together. Make sure that your spine is down there good. You may want to, you know, just kind of poke it a little bit. Not poke it. You don't want to put holes in it, but do that. Okay. Now, there's 2 ways you can do this. You can take the template that we made and set it inside there. I'm not going to do that because I find that to be a bit cumbersome. I'm going to take my centering ruler and I'm going to find the center of my thing, because I know my middle hole is in the center of my spine. So I'm going to center this on my widest paper, which happens to be the one that's in the middle here. And it is right there. I urge you, if you don't have a centering ruler, get a centering ruler. I love this centering ruler. I use it all the time. I talk about not shopping retail, but it's in like the art section of like Michael's. And I use this thing all the time. Okay, so what did we say our holes were from the center? 2 3/4? Yes, 2 3/4. So we just go from the center, 2 3/4, and 2 3/4. Can I see that? Nope. All right. Then you take your pokey tool or your awl, whichever one, and you poke your holes in your signature. Again, there's a couple different ways people do this. If you have a big book like a phone book or a catalog, a big catalog or something, you can put this in the crook of it and it will I don't know, hold it in place for you. I don't know. I'm not sure because I haven't done that. I haven't done that method. I just hold it in a V shape like this, and I poke straight up and down. That's the key. You got to go straight up and down. Don't try to go like this. You got to go straight up and down, because you want your holes to come right through. Kind of cradle it in your hand. You want your holes to come straight through so that they are in the fold of your signature. You don't want them to end up over here or over here. You want them in the fold. And so to do that, you have to go straight up and down. I think that's one of the biggest things that people have a problem with. Is that my hole? My dot? I think so. I hope so. I better double check. That's one of the things that I know that people have a problem with is getting their holes to go straight through their signature. So make sure your fingers aren't back there. Hold it semi-closed and go straight up and down. Push it all the way through. Now that one's a little tiny bit off, but not bad, not bad. And it, you know, it's okay if it's off a little bit. It's not the end of the world, because it's a junk journal. Okay, then keep your clips in. Make sure you're going in the right direction one more time. Okay. I am using embroidery floss. I like embroidery floss. I also use twine, but I like embroidery floss because it comes in a variety of colors. It's strong, and you can get it very easily at the thrift stores very cheaply. Every thrift store has embroidery floss. You can separate the strands if you want thinner, or you can use all the strands for a good even thing here. And I forgot to measure. So what you want is you want like 2.5 times the height of your journal. So there's 1, 2.5, and if it's a little more, it's okay. It doesn't have to be exact. You want extra to hang down below so that you can decide if you want to put charms on it or not, and I'll tell you about that one more when we get to it. We're going to start with the middle hole. Now this all depends. Here's another option you have. I want my strings, the end of my strings, to end up on the inside. You can do it so that your strings end up on the outside. I've done it so that my strings ended up here, and then you can tie charms or something onto the strings and have them dangle down. You can do that. If you want to do that, you start here. I want mine to be on the inside, so I'm starting here. Wherever you want your strings to end up, that's where you start. So I'm going to pull it through. You want some to be left dangling. Don't worry about it. You can adjust this. It's not crucial at this point. And then into your hole. Yeah, my holes are bigger than normal, but that's all right. It might end up being a good thing. And then you go into, it doesn't matter if it's top or bottom. It does not matter at all. I'm just doing top. And here's where it gets tricky. You go into your hole of your signature, and sometimes you have to kind of wiggle around a little bit to get through to the other side. That one wasn't bad. And then you go all the way down to the bottom or the top, depending on which one you went to. And you got to wiggle it around again. Ow! Don't poke yourself. Alright, good. There we go. And as you go, you can kind of tighten it a little bit, but you're going to need a little bit of wiggle room to get through all of the sections through the spine. Boy, I feel like I should have left a little bit more thread here. Well, I know I'm not going to put any dangles on here because I'm going to do a spine dangle. So it's okay if I don't have a ton of thread here, but if you want to add something, you may want to leave a little bit extra here. And then you go back into the middle one. And when you go into this middle one, you got to be careful that you don't pierce your thread. Especially if you are using embroidery thread, you know, you have 4 of them. So you don't want to pierce the thread right as you're going into this last hole here. You just have to finagle it around a little bit. There we go. Make sure you didn't go through the thread. And then what you want to do when you come up, see this center line? You want one of these threads on one side of the line and the other thread on the other side of the center, like that. My needle came out, but that's okay because I'm done. So you have each one on either side of this. Then you want to tighten it up. Check your back spine, make sure that you've got make sure you didn't do this. Do you see what I did? I went into my other hole. So if you do that, not a big deal. You just undo it. Well, that was pretty dumb. So, what not to do? All right. It's good. It's good that I show that because it shows you, okay, so you made a mistake. Take it apart. Do it again. Not a huge deal. Make sure you're threading your needle into the eye of the needle and not trying to do it into the point of the needle. That's what happens when I don't wear my glasses. Okay, so here we are. We're at this point. We're going back through here. The only problem with having to redo it is each time that you go through your hole, you do maybe a little bit of damage. Not damage, but you know, you might make the hole a little bigger or something. Okay, Mary, put it in the right one. This one. Now, you probably saw that, didn't you? Did you see it when I did it? I don't know how I wasn't even paying attention to that. And then back into the center hole. Trying not to catch the thread. There we go. Putting one thread on either side of the center. And now we can pull it tight. You don't want to like pull it so tight that you're ripping it. You want it taut and make sure that you're in the right line there and that there's no snags here. Sometimes you get a little loop or something and you've got to get that out. And then you just tie it. I tie it into a square knot. You can tie a bow. I've done that before. That looks cute. If you're doing it on the outside, you can tie that there. And then I'm going to just leave these for now because we're going to do something with them later. Then you can take your clips off. And there is your first signature. Did we do it right? We did. All right. So you got one signature in. This was the one with the doily. Yeah. Let me see how that worked. Yeah, that wasn't too bad. That's pretty good. I don't know if I care for the washi tape on there, but I feel like I needed it. So it's okay. Okay, second signature. Same thing. Check the placement of our paper. Make sure that it's all where we want it. This might be tricky. We'll see how that comes out. I love that this is the center. I like that. Okay, this signature is a little bit chunkier because of that burlap that's in there. So hopefully it'll all work out okay. I think it should be good. Put our clips on. Okay, then we're going to mark. Felt like that needed to be pushed down a bit. Find our center. Hope you can see what I'm doing here. 2 3/4 and 2 3/4. There we go. If you don't have an awl or a pokey tool, you know, you can use a needle. Just stick your needle down in there. You don't have to have special tools. That go through? Yeah. See, I'm cradling it in my hand and pushing it into the crease. That one came wonky. I don't know why that came wonky like that. Maybe I wasn't going straight up and down. I don't know. Then one, 2, 3. Once you've done this a couple times, it's like pretty easy process. This is intimidating to a lot of people, I know, but don't not do a journal because you're afraid to do this. Just try it, because it's really not that, it's not that hard. It's not. Don't be afraid of it. All right. My journal's going, my signature's going the right way. we're going to put it in here. And as you saw, see, I'm not right in the center of that one either. I don't know what happened there, but it's okay. I'm going to go with it. It's as you saw, if it's okay if you make a mistake. You just fix it. You can always fix the mistakes. One way or another, mistakes can be fixed. And keeping in mind, it's a junk journal. Junk journal in itself is not a perfect thing. At least in my mind, it's not a perfect thing. I think in most people's minds, it's not perfect. This is going to take a little bit more finagling because of that burlap that's in there. I think that it's kind of kept the, it's kept a, I don't know if you can see that. There's like a space in there. I think that's, the burlap is doing that, but I think when I sew it all together, I can pull it together and it'll close that up. I'm hoping. So you can see how, you know, smoothly this is going together. It's not bad at all. You just take your time with it. Don't get flustered with it. I can't see that. And you work it out. Oh, where'd you go? Kind of feel it around. There we go. There we are. Tighten it up. Check it. Beautiful. Let's see how we did with that burlap. Not bad, not bad. It's in there. Cool. I'm not sure why I put burlap in there or what I'm going to do with it, but it makes an interesting little element, doesn't it? I like it. Now, as you know, work in here and you do things, it'll all settle down or get nice and chunky, and I love it. I love it, I love it, I love it. I think it came out very nice. All right, guess what? You just put together your first journal. If you're a first timer and you did this with me, if you're a first timer and you haven't done it and you haven't done this with me, now you know what we're doing. Get your stuff, go back and rewatch the videos, and make your journal. Because see how easy it was? Now we're not done yet. No, 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 no. We're not done yet. We have to decorate it, right? Now I'm not going to do a lot of decorating today, but we have a few minutes. So what I am going to do is put some corners on the cover. That's one of the things. I usually do it like last, but I figured if I had time today, I would do it today. So I have these corners. These are metal corners, and I got these at Michael's. It's the Recollections brand. I don't know if they still carry them or not. I'm assuming that they do. You can probably get them at Hobby Lobby with their brand name, and I know that there's a Tim Holtz brand, which is probably twice the price, but shh. So I'm just going to pick which finish I like, because I have different finishes here. Why do I not have, oh, I do, okay. So I have this darker one, or this lighter one. And I think I'm going to go with the darker one. I also have this one. It's kind of a brass, but it's very like shallow. You see how these are much bigger. So this will probably be good on a smaller journal. Maybe one with a more of a paper cover or something. I don't know. Now, to do these corners, they can be a little bit tricky, I think. And if you're experienced with this, let me know if you have, maybe there's a secret to it, and you can tell me something that I might be doing wrong. I don't know. But they just go on, obviously, on your corners. And then you bend the ends down here. I'm using a pair of pliers. My thing with this is that I'm always afraid to scratch them, because I notice, like on this side, it leaves little marks. But does it really matter if there's little marks on them? You know, because a lot of times your journals are like vintage distressed look, you know? So maybe it doesn't really matter. And I'm kind of doing this little upward motion to get it up over the edge of the book. Now that one doesn't look too bad. Sometimes I feel like the corner right here is a little bit lumpy, but it's not bad. So you can see there are some marks on there from the pliers, but it's all right. It doesn't, I don't think that takes away from it at all. Now you can see my book, because I have a very old book. My corners are tattered, and that's why I'm putting corners on. You don't have to put corners on your book. I did one time where I put lace corners. I didn't do it very well. If I were to do it again, I would do it differently. But you can put like lace corners on your on the corners, and that would be fun too. It gives it a little bit of corner protection, and it's pretty. I know I said I don't buy retail. Then I just told you to go to Michael's and buy these corners. I didn't actually tell you to do that. You don't have to do that. You don't have to have corners. Maybe you know a way to make your own. That would be true junk journal style. There's the front corners. I like the corners on a book. I think it adds I don't know, a little bit of style, I guess. Now this isn't like always easy on the hands. Now my hand is hurting already, but I only got one more to go. It's okay. Sometimes I'm kind of wimpy like that. I wish that was I just wish the corner parts were a little bit flatter. They should make them like a little bit more mitered or something. There we go. So pretty. I like it. I like it a lot. I'm going to do a little bit more decorating on here. Not today because I'm not actually prepared to do it. But I am going to, I'll probably put a label on here and maybe some other decor to try to, you know, spruce it up, make it look like a journal. And our next steps are going to be decorating the inside. And I'm probably just going to do one video on that, because that's all just, you know, do your thing. Do your decorating. That's kind of, I don't know if it's self-explanatory, but there's so many videos out there showing different kinds of embellishments, things like that, that you can't possibly put them all in one journal. So go find your favorite embellishment videos, make some embellishments, get some things ready to go into your journal. We're going to do some pockets. We're probably going to do some belly bands. I don't know what else. I don't know. We'll just have to see what kind of comes up. But I'm going to get ready for it. I'm going to get out my horse themed pictures. I'm going to, I don't know, we're going to do some tags and some journal cards and things like that. So I hope you're making your journal with me. If not, go back and do it. Go back and make your journal. It's so easy. Look at what we did in such a short period of time. We have a journal. It's all ready to go. And that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. Hit that subscribe button so that you can find me again for the next episode. And we will see you later. Thanks. Bye.